Adot, if you can hear me, come into the studio. There we go. I got you. Good morning, Savannah. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're going to get it straightened out this morning. All right. Good, Mr. Wiley. I don't know what's going on this morning, why it won't show. Okay, thank you.
I could see it shows me that I'm in.
Yep, you in. And
but I can't see.
I think I know what's going on. We're live. I don't know why I can't get my screen to open up. Oh boy, here we go this morning. May have to go out and come back in, Ada.
All right, I can leave you. So you need me to leave it?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go out and come back in. I'm gonna go back. I'm going out and come back in too. All right, let's try this again. I'm trying to get Julius on the phone to find out what's going on.
Okay.
Hey, we supposed to be live, but we can't. I can't get the ad to come off the screen. He's looking to see what's going on. Well, we're gonna carry on this conversation. We're gonna have to. I don't know what it's gonna take to get this off.
No problem.
We're having some technical difficulties. We're gonna work through it, and we're gonna make it work.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Savannah. This is the vulnerable community. Even though we're going to be taping, we'll have a tape this morning of our conversation. But we have with us this morning Commissioner Aaron Whiteley. And good morning to you, Commissioner. And
good morning, Mr. Irwin.
We're going to get it worked out this morning. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Whiteley, and what's going on.
Well, so first of all, just appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come and engage with you all here on our Black Media Network. Really appreciate that opportunity. Also, really appreciate what the network is doing, bringing the news to the people, meeting people where they are. So a tip of the hat to the our Black Media Network team. I am the commissioner for the 6th District of Chatham County that represents the South Side and southwestern portions of Chatham County. I have served in this capacity for, I'm in my fourth year now, and technically my third year. I was just recently reelected. So I'm honored, and I appreciate the citizens of the 6th District for trusting me to continue to serve them. I have lived in Savannah my entire adult life, with the exception of the time I spent in the military. I came to Savannah for college, went to Savannah State University, left, joined the Army, came back with my family, which was my wife and my 3 children, and set up shop, went to work in the community. So now here we are in an elected capacity, honored to continue to serve. I am also co-owner of Chunks Learning Center. We have an early education center. It's on Abercorn Street. And a little note I'll add, effective January 6th, we will be starting our extended care. So we're open from 6:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. So for those who work in the evening times, check out chunkslearningcenter.com for your childcare needs. And aside from that, again, just honored to be here. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to get this worked out for us. So there we go. There we go.
It is?
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, got it. Yeah, got it.
Yes,
Thank
sir. You. I'm glad we got it. We got it situated.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Bye-bye. All right. We got this technical difficulty worked out. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Commissioner Whiteley, you were able to join us Saturday evening as Savannah Building Futures had a coming out party, so to speak. Well, we got together and we had an invitation, a meet and greet, and you were there, and several other people were there, and we started a conversation. You told us about some of the initiatives that you had going on. So if you would, kind of tell us a little bit about what you are trying to accomplish with this new initiative with the homeless folk in the
Yes,
Bay,
sir.
and explain the difference like you did the other night.
Yes, sir. So there's multiple articles, a lot of press coverage regarding Chatham County government's tabling of an issue, or actually we removed it from the agenda, which would be we're calling it a urban camping ordinance. And it's a ordinance amendment, but when the word got out, our emails lit up like Christmas trees. And I think a lot of that is the fear of the unknown. So I want to be able to kind of share a little bit about the challenges that we've endured with the homelessness, especially in my district. So as I said, I'm the 6th District County Commissioner, and part of my district includes the Gateway. So where Interstate 95 meets 204, that is my district on both sides of 204, going all the way down. And what we've seen, especially since the city of Savannah closed the homeless encampment downtown, as well as the multiple warehouse buildings and a lot more development as it continues to take place in Southwest Chatham County, we're seeing a lot more of the homeless. Now, though we are seeing more of the homeless, that does not mean that we have had an influx of homeless in the county. According to the Homeless Authority, the point in time count actually has gone down, meaning that homelessness as a whole has gone down. But the difference is we are seeing it more now due to the development. So one of the issues that we have is there are folks who are who appear to be homeless, and in some cases are homeless. However, they are committing crimes, right? And so whenever the discussion about this urban camping zone ordinance came up, the emails that I was getting was, don't criminalize homelessness. Don't criminalize homelessness. And I just want people to know that we as a county government are not criminalizing homelessness. There are a number of resources that are available to our unsheltered community. And the Chatham County government has invested heavily in supporting these efforts. We have partnered with the Interagency Council on Homelessness, which is an entity that consists of Chatham County government, the City of Savannah leadership, the Homeless Authority leadership, as well as other wraparound service providers, mental health providers, substance abuse providers, programs that help people get housing, programs that help people get access to their IDs. I'm a veteran. We have programs that work with veterans to get their IDs and benefits. Those are readily available here in Chatham County as we speak. So when you have these types of programs, we have day centers that the county has partnered with in some ways. One of the most meaningful ways that we've partnered with our day centers is that the county purchased a wash trailer. So this is a trailer that has a laundry capabilities as well as shower capabilities that are being parked outside of the day centers. So again, the county government is serious and intentional about helping those who are unsheltered in our community. Not to mention all the different nonprofit shelters that we hear about that are here in town. So what this ordinance is geared towards, it is towards making it illegal to camp in certain areas, but more so gently nudging folks who are in this situation to get the help that they need. So criminalizing homelessness, as people are characterizing it, is really unfair to the ordinance, to the language. I have it here in front of me. One of the things we have to remember is that if somebody is committing crimes, if somebody is making our community unsafe, we have a responsibility to make sure that that is not a possibility anymore. We have a responsibility to ensure that our first responders have the teeth in ordinances to address these issues. Up to this point, we hadn't necessarily had that. So what we're trying to do is support our first responders while, again, gently nudging our unsheltered. Another program, and I left this out, another program that is available now to our unsheltered community is Homeless Court. And that is a program that's being led by Judge Lisa Colbert in Superior Court. And again, this is an effort to make sure that those who are homeless, if they are brought to criminal charges of some way or another, that they're able to get the help that they need and deserve rather than being sent to jail. Because I want people to understand that for me, jail is not my first option, because jail costs us as taxpayers at least somewhere between $74 to $78 a day. And if you were paying attention to my tenure, early on in my tenure, I worked with my colleagues and the district attorney to make sure that we were addressing a court backlog, because there were about 78 individuals who had been in jail over 1,000 days, and they had not gone to trial yet. So
hold
those
that thought right there for 1 minute. We have to do one quick break.
All right.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
All right, we're back. Now, Commissioner Whiteley, you were talking about those folk who had been in jail for over 1,000 days.
Mhm.
Wow, that's a big expense on the community, on the
Yep.
taxpayer.
Over $5 million were spent on those individuals alone. And so when we discuss addressing homelessness, I want people to understand that our first goal or our first option is not to get people in jail. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that those who need help get the help that they need. And those who just choose to live in a space of lawlessness, get out of here. We want to make it extremely uncomfortable for those who just want to live in a space of lawlessness. So one of the main focuses of this ordinance is to address the vagrancy. And there's a difference between vagrancy and homelessness, right? Homelessness is somebody who has fell upon tough times, perhaps, maybe has mental health challenges, is unable to maintain living in an apartment because they're having a hard time maintaining a job, getting income, and so on and so forth. Vagrancy is when somebody is going into areas and just doing criminal acts, whether it's at our hotels, knowing that you did not stay in the hotel, going and helping yourself to continental breakfast, accosting people in parking lots at shopping centers or public spaces, littering in a lot of ways, drug usage, public drug usage at that, drug sales. That's vagrancy. And that's what we're trying to attack. So when people send me these emails saying, don't criminalize homelessness, understanding that they hadn't read the ordinance, I feel that they're misguided. They just heard urban camping ordinance and automatically assume that we're just taking people to jail because they're sleeping on a park bench. And that's not the case. Again, this ordinance that we are putting into effect will only affect unincorporated Chatham County. It will be up to the respective municipalities to put something similar in their ordinances. Now, we're hoping that we will have some kind of uniformity in our code across the county. But again, the goal is to go after vagrants, not after those who need help. Those who need help, we want them to get help. So just to kind of go over some of the literature in the ordinance, well, let me pause for a second. So we did pull this off of our last meeting's agenda because we wanted to engage our stakeholders a little bit more to make sure that we tweak the verbiage in the ordinance. Want to make sure that we also kind of formalize what the engagement between police and a homeless person, should they have to be removed. We want to formalize what that looks like. So there's no questions as to what that police officer should be doing and how they're going to handle this person. Why I say that is because they may encounter a homeless person who has a dog, and this homeless person may have mental health challenges and need to go to some sort of therapy, right? Well, when you approach this person, are you approaching them from a level of compassion or a level of punitive spirit? We want them to approach them with a level of compassion. What are we going to do with the dog? If we can get them to agree to go into some sort of treatment or mental health treatment, what are we going to do with their pet? We can't just throw it away. We can't just leave it out to dry. So we want to formalize some of those details. But I will tell you, Commissioner Aaron Adot Whiteley is absolutely very, very adamant about passing this ordinance, because in my district, I have gotten the calls of people who have homeless people coming and stealing off of their porch. I have had the calls and the emails of people who have had their customers accosted by homeless people brandishing weapons. They have witnessed drug deals. Their children have seen people nodding off due to heroin usage, some with needles in their hands. We have seen a number of overdoses in some of these encampments, right? So to sit on our hands and do nothing is not an option, not for me, not for my district. And I want people to understand that. Now, again, I do have compassion, and our commission does have compassion for those who do need help. And that's why we're creating this ordinance, to make sure that those folks get the help that they need. So I'm going to read some of the literature on it. Upon conviction for violation of this article, in addition to any other factors deemed appropriate by the court shall consider in mitigation whether or not the person immediately removed all personal property and litter, including but not limited to bottles and cans. So this is where we have encampments and they have posted up for a while and they just leave junk there. All right. Well, so this was your home. That's fine. If you can't be there, you can't be there, but you still have to clean up behind yourself. If an individual demonstrates that after receiving a citation, but let me back up. The first piece of it, a warning must first be issued. Pursuant to this article, no person may be arrested for violating this section until he has first received an oral or written warning to cease the unlawful conduct. So you heard that right there, Mr. Irwin. The first thing we're doing is talking to them and writing them a citation or having a discussion with them. We're not taking them to jail.
All right. Question there. Go ahead. All right. You said a couple of things, and one of them was you were going to your people would approach these people with compassion. I do know that the city of Savannah has officers trained to deal with people who have mental problems. Mm-hmm. And you said yourself that a lot of these homeless people do have mental problems. Does the county have the same training?
Absolutely. The county was who put together the behavioral health unit that the city of Savannah uses. So absolutely. Not only do we have officers trained and professionals trained to assist officers with somebody who has mental health challenges, we also have homeless outreach officers whose sole responsibility is to engage the homeless. So this isn't a beat cop who may take a call on an armed robbery and then turn around and have to deal with homeless. We have officers specifically set up to engage our homeless population.
Okay, and with that being said, I heard you said earlier about the homelessness growing in the county. The city has basically pushed a lot of homeless people into the county. And when you find a homeless camp, if the camp is kept up, and it's hard to say kept up, but kept neatly, and they try to keep it clean, will y'all remove them from the camp?
So I couldn't answer that because there's a few factors that determine how we move. First and foremost, it's up to the property owner if they want to allow something like that to be on their property. If the property owner does not want an encampment to be on their property, when it comes to the county, they can sign an agreement with the police that gives the police the ability to go onto their property and remove them. But they will have to also put up signage saying no trespassing. And then they have to give those people a period of time to leave. So let's just say you had a lot in unincorporated Chatham County and you learned that homeless people were living there and you didn't want them to live there. You would sign a community agreement with the police department, Chatham County Police Department. And then you would have to post signs that say no trespassing. And then our police officers will go on and engage these folks and say, hey, the property owner does not want you to be here. So at this point, you have maybe 5 days or 10 days to move from here. If I return in 10 days and you're still here, you will now be trespassing, which could make you subject to an arrest.
Okay. What are the possibilities of Chatham County, as big as Chatham County is, and we do have a lot of open spaces that they have not turned into warehouses yet, creating a space for homeless folk?
So that discussion is being had with the Interagency Council on Homelessness. And it's a discussion that we have to tread very delicately on, and this is why. Is homelessness an issue? Absolutely. Again, until we root out the vagrancy, then what happens is the vagrants lump themselves into the group of homeless as well, right? So then we're looking at a group of homeless as if they were all one entity. I'll use pull up a prop. So this is a ball, right? Let's just say this is homelessness as an issue, right?
Right.
But let's just say that this one person has a mental health issue. This one person, all the blue ones have mental health issues, right? Well, the yellow ones, they're using this to sell drugs and panhandle as a means for revenue. The person in the red is maybe on the lam from another county. It just doesn't want to be recognized, so he's hanging out, right? So the point I'm trying to make is this is what we see. We just see homelessness, right? But every one of these rubber bands has a story behind it. And until we could find some way to clearly separate the vagrants, the people who want to live in lawlessness, who want to sell drugs, who want to use drugs without any recourse, the people who want to break into vehicles, who want to break into businesses, who want to steal packages off of porches. If we don't create a way to separate them, then us creating a space for the homeless, it just is a formal place for vagrancy to fester like a cancer. And so what this ordinance is going to do is it's going to give us the ability to divert people where they need to go. If you need mental health support, if you need substance abuse support, we can put you into those programs. We can point you in that direction and plug you in with those programs that are readily available. And if you need, again, housing support or whatever, we can put you into those spaces and identify you and make sure that you are getting that support. But if you just choose to not get the help that we're trying to offer you, if you choose to live in a space of lawlessness, then you've got to go somewhere else. We can't allow that to happen. So that's the whole drive behind the actual ordinance. It's our way of making sure that the people who need the help get the help, but those who don't want the help don't get that. They get the heck on. Is my point.
Do you think Chatham County services would be sufficient? Would you think the county's services to the homeless would be sufficient if you found, say, 75% of those folk out there with a mental problem?
The short answer is I think that's a good question. I think to some degree, yes, because there would be yes and no. And what I mean by that, there might be outpatient services that are available, but not sufficient to treat everybody inpatient.
Right. Okay. That's what I was trying to get at. And
like inpatient.
I've in the past, I was a school bus driver, and I had to pick up people who had kids who were homeless, and I couldn't see a person with a family with a family trying to live homeless and it's got it all and it's all got it all together. Something has to be a problem there somewhere. And so many times we find that people, they get out of a job, and when they get out of a job, it's hard for them to find a job when they've been on the job for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then they become homeless, and that's a mental problem all by itself.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and again, we have programs that can help plug you into employment. Some folks aren't able to get very good employment due to substance abuse issues, we have programs that can help you with that. Now, do those programs need help? Yes. So I'm not saying that these programs are just the end all be all. We still have to beef these programs up. But again, we have to create some sort of mechanism that we can, separate lawlessness and vagrancy from those who really need help. And that's what this is. We have to set the framework to allow us to address homelessness in a comprehensive manner. And that's what this would do for unincorporated Chatham County.
Right. I agree with you. We're going to take another quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll be getting ready to go into the wrap-up session.
Okay.
Oh, I mean, my friend, your Savannah homeboy, Clarence Thomas, made sure that I don't go to prison.
So Julius is in there talking to Trump. Ooh, I'm telling.
All right, we're back again. We have programs, like you said, this county has programs. We have programs that are people who are out here trying to help alleviate some of the problem. And I understand that the county is also willing to help some of these people. So can you elaborate on some of that?
So you have Gateway Mental Health, who's been doing a lot of different, who has a lot of programming available. But we're really trying to steer folks to the Homeless Authority because that is almost like our clearinghouse for a lot of federal dollars that we receive and state dollars that we receive to help address some of the challenges. So mental health issues, people may, I kind of mentioned this earlier, people may not have an identification. Well, we can help you get that. People may have a substance abuse issue. We can help you get that as well. We can help you with that as well. Our day centers, we have a few day centers in town where you can get access to these programs. And then also at these day centers, you get access to employment as well. So we want to start steering people to our day centers, start steering people to the programming that's available through the Homeless Authority. And that's why, again, I'm very adamant about getting this going, this ordinance passed, because the other thing it does is it'll steer people towards our homeless court. So we have multiple catches, if you will, to make sure that we are not criminalizing homelessness because we don't want to do that. We want people to get the help they need. And that's what homeless court's about. In the case where without a homeless court, folks may get thrown into the system and may not necessarily get the help they need. Our biggest mental health care provider right now is our jail. And unfortunately, that's true throughout our nation. The jails are where a lot of people are getting mental health care. And so we want to make sure that, again, we are not placing this expense on taxpayers solely. We want to make sure that we are working with our community partners to give our unsheltered population the help that they need and deserve. Well,
when you say the jail has a mental problems all by itself. They have problems all by themselves. But what would be the alternative other than, say, for instance, you got a person that doesn't have a mental issue, but is homeless, and they go to the homeless court. Then what do we look at then?
Yep. So, and this is in the actual ordinance. So I'm going to read directly from the ordinance. let's see. So first of all, upon conviction for a violation of this article, which would be public camping, if an individual demonstrates that after receiving the citation and before a hearing of them going to court, they meaningfully engage with private resources and or service providers to address the reasons that led them to be in violation, the court shall consider that information in determining the appropriate penalty. So that's part A. So that leaves it to our judges. Again, this one's being speared by Judge Lisa Colbert to say, okay, well, if you have, you may not have mental health issues, but you had issues getting a job, but I see that you've actually worked to try to get a job, you found some part-time employment and so on and so forth, then now that judge could say, okay, well, I'm going to not send you to jail, but I want you to come back and give me an update on where you are so that we could, again, help nudge this person along the process. Section 3 in mitigations and policies of the proposed ordinance says violation of this article is a violation punishable by a fine of not more than $50 and or jail, no more than 12 months. In the court's discretion, alternative penalties intended to address the reasons the individual was in violation of this chapter may be imposed. So again, the judge can say, okay, I'm not going to fine you. I'm not going to send you to jail, but I'm going to order you to go to this program that can help you with your substance abuse issue. I'm going to order you to go to this program that's going to help you get a job or whatever it may be. So again, what it's doing is creating that space where the courts can gently nudge these folks along. But I want to be clear again, the first instance, as this ordinance says, no person may be arrested for violating this section until he has first received an oral or written warning to cease the unlawful conduct. So again, we're not just coming trying to sweep people up and take them to jail. We want to get them the help that they need. And this is a way for us to gently nudge that, but also allow us to kind of filter through who really needs help versus who just chooses to be a lawless vagrant.
When you said, and I've been a part of somebody giving you an oral warning, and there's no record of an oral warning. I would rather see a written warning, something to document it, because you have some people who say, well, I said so and so to you, and you should have understood what I said.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have a clear understanding of what's being said to you, because if a person misunderstands you, and if they have a problem, and they have a problem understanding, then you can say what you want to say. That don't mean that they understood what you said.
Right. I understand that, and again, this is part of why we pulled it off. There's some things we want to tighten up and be more formal on. One of the recommendations that I have as it relates to us tweaking this ordinance is that if an oral warning is given in that police report where it's written up, the body cam has to be referenced so that we can go and look back and see how that oral warning was given. Because you and I both know, especially when it comes to our vulnerable communities, what others may look at as a warning may not come off as a warning. And so we want to be clear on that. So, but again, the written piece absolutely makes sense. And I think it's more so on a case-by-case basis. But that is one of the recommendations that I have, is to make sure that if it is considered an oral warning, that we have some sort of way to document it. We have to have a way to document it, A, to be able to refer back to what that warning was, but B, so that we can make sure that our folks across the board, if they are to encounter them in the future, any other officers, that they understand that this was a warning that was given.
Yeah, we have been joined by my co-host and my partner in crime, the Reverend Alan Maynard. Good morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Savannah. Good morning, vulnerable community. Good morning, Commissioner Whiteley. Good morning, Elder Jerome Irwin. Thank you for this space, I heard you saying that they were ticketing our vagrants. Okay, but as you said, some of them have mental health status. So when we're dealing with mental health, we have to be very cautious because we could and some of them play that mental health stage too well and say I don't comprehend. But is there any other way that we can get the message to them while they're being cited, and that the officer can relay it to them in layman's terms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so again, this is part of why the item was taken off of the agenda, because we want to be very clear in what that engagement looks like. We want to be very, very clear on what the verbiage is going to be. We want to be very clear on what the expectation is going to be. And you're right, there are going to be some people who try to play that role, but they're not necessarily in that space. But again, the option is get the help necessary or get the heck on.
Amen. Exactly.
And so that's kind of where we are. But again, we have to create a framework to shape that, right? And so that's what this ordinance is. So if you don't want to get the help, we're going to give you every opportunity to go get the help. We're going to give you every opportunity. We're going to put you in front of the help. We're going to give you every opportunity to get that help. But if you so choose to not accept the help, well, then in that case, we're going to make it very uncomfortable for you. Because
now that you said that there's help, I have a question for you. How are we getting the message out to the people? How do we get them to know that there is help that is available now? Because so many times we've heard that, oh, we have resources here, we have resources there, but in actuality, it's not for us.
Mm-hmm. So the homeless authority is very good about going out there and engage them. A. B, as I mentioned earlier in this interview, we have officers whose sole job is to address the homelessness. So that's all they do. And they work directly hand in hand with the homeless authority and those resources that are available. So when they're going and engaging these folks, they're letting them know of the of the resources available to them. Also setting up a way or a means to get them to the help. If they need a ride, our officers will take you to the help. And then again, the homeless team has, whenever they do their point in time count, their boots on ground, and then throughout the year, they're actually directly engaging these folks as well. So making sure that our homeless or unsheltered are aware of the resources available is a big priority for us, because again, and with this ordinance being in place, what this is going to do is going to allow us to make sure that our officers have some teeth behind it whenever they're actually engaging our homeless population. So again, I'm going to take you to the help. I'm going to show you where the help is. I could bring the help to you in some cases. If you choose not to engage, that's fine, but you have to leave.
Is that for sheltered or non-sheltered?
What do you mean?
Is that for sheltered or non-sheltered? Because we know that we're dealing when it comes to the homeless authority, they deal with the sheltered homeless and the non-sheltered homeless. So is that the sheltered homeless or non-sheltered?
And that I don't know. I mean, and my understanding is they work with both, but the ordinance, in terms of this ordinance, we're dealing with people who are camping in public, so they would be
non-sheltered. Yeah, non-sheltered. Right. Thank you. Okay, because and again, when you say the homeless authority, they can only get the word out to those who, like you say, if they know it. There are camps that we don't even know, that they don't know that really exist. So how could we be of help to them to get the word out to them, to the non-sheltered?
I mean, really, it's telling them and pointing them into the direction of the different organizations that are doing the work. Also, the property owners, those who own the land in which the encampments are on, they can ask for the police to come on and remove these folks. Now, again, it's not an overnight deal. It is a process, as it relates to unincorporated Chatham. If you owned a piece of property in unincorporated Chatham County and you learn that there were homeless people living on it, you can engage with our police department and sign a community agreement, which is giving our police the ability to go onto your property. You would also have a responsibility of putting up no trespassing signs. And then our police are going to go on site and say, hey, this owner does not want this encampment to be here. Within 5 days or 10 days, you need to be gone. And here's some resources that you can get to. If you need help getting to them, let me know. We can get you to them. But if I return in 10 days and you're still here, now you are trespassing. So I think that would be a way to actually get with the property owners, those who own the land that these encampments are on. The other way is to let us know, whether it be your commissioner or your council member. Let them know of the locations so that we can send our homeless outreach officers out. And again, when our homeless outreach officers are going, they're not going to arrest. They're going to assist. They're going to engage and see what the issues are. There have been instances where, on a couple of occasions, where our officers go out to engage somebody and then come to find out they have warrants in different counties. In that case, yeah, they're going to jail. But again, that's what we're trying to weed out. We got to get the criminals out of here and get them. Some of them need help themselves. So we've got to get them out of that space so they can actually get the help they need and actually go through the process that they need to go through so they can move on with their life, as well as those who may not have criminal issues.
Well, I got a question here, and I thought about it as you were talking. We're talking about the homeless, but does the county have any affordable housing available for these people who are homeless and maybe can get them out of the street, those that want to move out of the street? I know that we have some people who are veterans that just want to be outside for some reason. Like you say, that's a mental state then. But you have some people who have lost their homes, but does the county have anything, any kind of affordable or assistance programs to help these people get back into homes?
So we are currently working with Habitat for Humanity to build single-family homes in Port Wentworth, which are considered affordable. We do not have a direct program that the county funds solely for affordable housing, to answer your question. So no, not in that space. However, we are clearing the way for entities to create that. Another example of that, in my district, we just, at our last meeting, we just approved a zoning change for a motel that the owners are going to change this motel into studio apartments. So I think it's about 150 units. And these are going to be efficiency apartments. So again, and their rent is probably about no more than $1,200 to $1,500. No, $1,200 to $1,200 is the average of what they're saying, what the rate will be. But as far as us just putting taxpayers' dollars directly into like a housing authority or something like that, we don't have that. The city of Savannah has that, where you'll see more income-based housing initiatives and things of that nature. And we're working to expand our footprint on that. But at this point in time, no, we don't.
My thing is, and I hear what you're saying, and now we're talking about people that are non-sheltered. Am I correct? Some of these people they don't have resources to afford the $800 or the $1,200. So how is the resources going to be put there for them? Is there a fund there that they're going to pay their rent for so long, and take them through a program so they can get employment and be sustainable?
That's what we talked about already. Yes, sir. The giving somebody a check every month does not help them provide for themselves. Giving them a hand up may do that. And so where there will be temporary shelter available, and let me back up, something I left out. We also did, we have done a deal with where we have, I want to say it's 10 quadplexes for temporary housing for those who are unsheltered, who may be going through some kind of program. Also for families. Y'all know y'all can silence y'all phones, right? And it won't ring while you're in the middle of your TV show. It might just a recommendation.
Well, they do know that. They know that.
The other thing we may do, so I wanted to be clear on that as going back to the question about affordable housing. The county has purchased or partnered, done some contracts, long-term contracts so we have temporary housing available. But at the end of the day, the goal is to get somebody to a level of self-sustainability. And so that means, okay, if you have mental issues, we first have to tackle your mental health issues and make sure you're getting the help that you need there and perhaps any medication you need there. From there, we want to get you into gainful employment. We have programs, again, through the Homeless Authority and different entities to assist you with getting willful employment. So then once we get you working, now we've gotten you moving towards a level of self-sustainability. And then from there, now you could afford some sort of housing. At least that's the goal. Now, let's be frank here. You and I both know that housing affordability is a phrase, but not necessarily a reality here in town.
Exactly.
And I understand that. And so we are looking at ways to try to address that, because we have to find a way to balance as our property values increase, because the county's becoming such a great place to be, and so on and so forth. We still have to find a way to make things affordable. And I think that's where government can step in for the hand up. But we do not want to become the space where folks solely depend on the county and taxpayers as a whole to cover their nut, if you will, or cover their overhead if they're not working towards getting to a space where they could afford their own.
Okay, well, we have had you, Commissioner Whiteley. We appreciate you coming on the show this morning. It has been a pleasure. I think we've got the word out of what you're trying to do, and I think that we will be supporting some of your programs, and we look forward to working with you, and we will be talking back and forth with you, because one of the things we can say about you, you will talk to us and tell us what's going on.
Yes, sir.
So we appreciate you. This is the Vulnerable Community, and we will be back right after New Year's.
All right.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be back right after New Year's, and we will see y'all then. So until next year, y'all be blessed. Have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, season's greeting, Feliz Navidad, and all that good stuff.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Happy Kwanzaa.
Be blessed.
See y'all next year. Bye now.
All right now.